Hey everybody, Steuben here, and today we're going to take a look at something a little bit different compared to a normal video on the channel. I'm going to cover 5 decks that I think you should be playing at NAIC if you want your best shot at a day 2, let alone maybe even winning the event. We're going to start off with Lugia. Now these decks are in no particular order, but I do happen to have most of these cards with me on hand, so we're going to take a look at the colorless variant of Lugia. Of course, you have your 4-3 Lugia line and your 4 Archeops. Pretty straightforward in most Lugia decks. This is where here it gets a little bit different. There is a single strike version as well, but this one really focuses on Snorlax here, the unfazed fat ability, basically just rendering it protected from Sableye. And of course you've got Luxray and Weirdeer, and of course the Lumineon to find your super important Professor Burnett. In addition, we've got 4 copies of Research 3 Boss's Orders, 1 copy of Serena, 2 copies of Iono, and like I said, the 1 Burnett. In terms of stadiums, you've still got to play these Mesagozas and a Collapse to maybe get rid of a Lumineon or a damage target off of the bench. And of course, we've got our 4 Ultra Balls and 4 Capturing Aroma and 2 Nest Balls to help us find Pokemon and potentially, Ultra Ball our way into Archeops, into the bin. And this is, like I said, the colorless version, so all the energy except for a single copy of Reversal for that Luxray is going to be in here. That way you can use it to wild charge into opposing Lugias or Palkia V-Stars if chien-pao seems to be as popular as it is online. But this is the first list in this top 5 situation. Let me know what you think of the Lugia. And also, of course, the single strike variant is super strong as well, with the single strike energies doing 20 more damage. You have different type coverage. You have Urshifu that can go through things, Duraludon that can protect you in the mirror matches, and of course Tyranitar to maybe even mill out your opponent and slap some Gardevoir and Mew for weakness. So that's the first list. Alright, the number 4 pick is, of course, Chien-pao, the newest archetype out of Paldea Evolved that seems to have the most impact in the meta. With Shivery Chill, when it's in the active spot, you can switch your deck for 2 basic water energy and put them into your hand. Then, of course, its attack, Hail Blade, that does 60 times the amount of energy you discard from across your board. And the way you get them in play is with Bax Caliber and Super Cool. We have a full deck profile of an older list available on the channel if you want to go check that out from about a week or 2 ago. But this is a different list that I've been rocking, and I mean, there are countless ways to play this. I've seen it with Bibarel, Pokestop, Arceus. We're rocking a 2-2 line of Palkia and no Bibarel in here because we're playing Professor's Research to discard and draw. Most importantly, this deck has to play 4 copies of Irida. That way you can find your rare candy and your Bax Calibers. That way you can start swinging in with chien-pao as soon as possible. Palkia itself with Star Portal is really good, another way to accelerate energy. And of course we have the powerful Radiant Greninja. This deck is insane in the fact that you can potentially concealed cards, Moonlight Shuriken every single turn and send your opponent's Pokemon into the Lost Zone with Lost City. That way they can't play the brand new Super Rod to recover their lines. This has some good matchups, but again, it's a little bit harder to set up, but it is pretty straightforward. But you do have a lot more like in-depth lines of play that you can make. But this is the list for Chien-pao. Again, this is just a sample list. You don't have to play these 60s, but I think if you play this, you're probably going to have a good time at NAIC. Alright, and the number 3 pick I've got here is Mew V Max, the Fusion Strike build with the Mailetta and Ice Cube. Ice Cube is a newer addition in here, as we've seen from the Japan Championships, with the Block Slider tag. Does 40 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for every Fusion Strike energy we have in play. And of course, we get those into play with Elisa Sparkle. And this has multiple reasons to be in this list. The main reason is the fear of Spiritomb from Paldea Evolved, which turns off basic Pokemon V abilities. So that means no Fusion Strike system from Genesect, so you can't draw your cards up and replenish everything you have going on. So Ice Cube can potentially snipe into the Spiritomb. And of course we have the Elisa Sparkle to accelerate the Fusion Strike energy, and when Fusion Strike energy is attached to Genesect, it's unaffected by your opponent's abilities, so it turns off the Spiritomb. So you've got multiple lines of play here, and again, Mew is just a super powerful deck. Of course we have Lost sitting here to send threats into the Lost Zone. We've got power tablets and cleansing gloves and choice belts to be able to one-hit KO everything. We have 3 copies of Forest Seal Stone to ensure we set up, and we can also play Lost Vacuum to get rid of the tool cards to decrease the amount of cards we have in our hand as another discard outlet so we can draw more with Fusion Strike system. With Mew V Max, you can copy any attack with Cross Fusion Strike, including the Ice Cube, the Mayaletta, the Genesect, and other Mew and other Mew V Maxes as well. I think this deck is poised to do very well into NAIC and can definitely get you into day 2 and maybe even could potentially win the event. We've seen it beat Gardevoir that had Spiritomb in it, and we're definitely going to be talking about Gardevoir pretty soon here, but not before we talk about another deck after this one. So here's the number 4 pick, Mew V Max. Okay, and the number 2 pick is, of course, the Lost Zone box. You've got your Comfey, Sableye, and Cramorants, but in this one we've got multiple attackers in the form of Greninja, Snorlax, Dragonite, Raikou, and Drapion V to cover a whole bunch of different matchups. Dragonite just hits really hard into a lot of things, and of course we've got our Colruses, our standard supporter lines with Rockin', Clara, and Raihan, of course, Battle Passes and S-Balls, the Sweet and Heavy Ball, your Gates, your switch options, your energy spread. More importantly now, the new Jet Energy, that way you can move Pokemon up into the active spot for your turn attachment. Helps you basically just get an extra flower selecting. Or sometimes you can, gate somewhere and jet into Raikou, fleet-footed and attack, or you can jet in and out with Snorlax or Greninja. Of course, we're playing an Artisan to help set up early game as our one single stadium. And here we've got Pokegear to helpfully find Colress faster. And we're playing both of these Sky Seal Stones to cover everything potentially that you got going on. The Sky Seal Stone is good into Mew and Lugia and other random Arc Pile decks, which are definitely an honorable mention for the tournament. I would say Arctine is probably your best bet. Of course, there's like Arcdura, Arc Umbreon, Arc Vulpix. Those are all valid options to play, and for the matches that it doesn't matter, the Forest Seal Stone just helps you get there faster into your Magic 7 and 10 counts in the Lost Zone. There are many ways to play this deck. I've seen Pokestops, I've seen Kyogre being a really big one, and other various attackers that you could potentially use. This is just my rough draft that I've got on hand of the Turbo variant, as they call it. But let me know what you think of Lost Box down below in the comments. And of course, we have to still talk about the number 1 deck, Gardevoir. Alright, and finally, the number 1 pick, Gardevoir EX with Psychic Embrace, letting you attach Psychic Energy from the discard pile to your Psychic Pokemon in exchange for placing damage counters on them. This lets you attack with Brainwave on the Shining Arcana Gardevoir and Zacian V for insanely high numbers, all while playing this entire package of 12 Gardevoir line cards. Of course, we've got the Ralts, the ever-important Kirlia with Refinement, discard a card, draw 2. It's another way to get your energy into the discard pile. We're playing 11 basic Psychic and 1 single copy of Reversal. That way you can attach it to Shining Arcana and hit even bigger numbers with Brainwave. I think your damage is capped out at 330 that way. We've got other important things here like Greninja and Manaphy. Manaphy will help you protect your Kirlias until they're evolved all the way up. Greninja will discard cards and draw extra as well. And of course, we have the Forest Seal Stone to go with Zacian. That way you can search for whatever you're potentially missing. A huge addition into this deck was Iono, being able to disrupt your opponent and then cycle through your deck even further. For setup, we've got 4 Battle Pass, 4 Level Ball, 3 Fog Crystal, 3 Ultra Ball, very super consistent list. And that way you can guarantee your turn to attack. We're playing 3 copies of Rare Candy. For your recovery, we've got Super Odds and Pal Pad to put your supporters and your Pokemon and sometimes energy back into the deck for whatever situations. This list is pretty straightforward. There are a lot of other variations out there. I've seen Doubleization, I've seen more Reversal Energy, I've seen different supporters and other random attackers in this list. Who knows exactly if this style of list here or a more reversal focused or even the Mewtwo V Union version of Gardevoir is going to take the event. All eyes are on this deck. It is the deck to beat, as they say. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm excited to see where we go with this. This deck got insanely powerful thanks to Super Rod. We talk about a lot of these over on the Gust of Wind podcast this week, so go check that out. Link will be down in the description below. If you're going to be at NAIC, come up, say hi. I'm excited to meet everybody I'll be around as much as I can and competing with maybe one of these 5 decks I showed off today. Who knows? We'll find out. Still got a few days to go until it's tournament time, but don't forget to smash that like button if you made it this far. Subscribe, it means a lot. We're pushing closer to 3,000 subscribers on a daily basis, so help us get there sooner. Share this video. Let me know if you found this informative, helpful, engaging, entertaining, any of those things. All feedback is super appreciated, and I'll see you guys in Columbus. Much love. Peace out.